Someone needed to come and tell George Washington, you can't repeat what we did, what the British had done. But part of what Alexander Hamilton taught was how to, he said, you're not going to have an issue managing the Negroes because they're going to be so busy fighting among themselves, you won't worry about an uprising. As you create two classes of Negroes. You have the house Negro. I hope I'm not offending anybody, but this isn't news to anyone, is it? That's right. It came from somewhere. And I'm going to come back to the Opportunity Zone. Believe me, it's all connected. Who sponsored the Opportunity Zone? The U.S. Treasury. Who was the architect of the U.S. Treasury? Alexander Hamilton. Not an accident, I don't think. Not an accident, I just met Jimmy Whitehead. Not an accident the governor couldn't come and speak. I'm here. Okay? So, you have the house Negro, you have the field Negro. You have the light-skinned Negro, and you have the dark Negro. Abuse their women, humiliate the men, don't let them read. Break up the family. A lot of that's still going on, isn't it? We got hope, we got grace, and the country will get better. But it was interesting, that's also part of his legacy, because that's what he knew. Now, I was reading here, you can find out a lot about people now, like she did on me in this, on the internet. But it was interesting to talk here as a youth. He left when he was just a teenager. So my father, I get really emotional when I talk about my dad, because he was born close to here. Have some water, please. He was born in Camden, which is 30 miles from here. And my dad was born in 1897. Had me when he was 60. Praise God. Praise God. And one more after me, just to prove the point. Okay? My dad was something else. His name was James McCoy. And James McCoy was born on a sharecropper's farm. His mother's African-American and Cherokee Indian. He got his name from the gentleman who owned the farm. I think he was Irish or Scottish. My father used to have to fight because he was light-skinned. My grandmother, Sarah, married an African-American gentleman who didn't want my dad around at all. He used to beat him, humiliate him. And at 12 years old, he left. Never came back here. And what was amazing was I was down in Hilton Head about 15 years ago. And no one in my family ever come back down here. I was in Hilton Head playing golf, which I'm pretty good at, by the way. I'm good. Everybody's good at something, right? And I decided to look up where was Camden. So I rented a car, came over there. And Mark, it blew my mind, because what I saw were the cotton fields, and I just imagined my dad walking down that dirty little road, broken, scared, didn't know what he's going to be. Then I rode around the city, and I saw these homes, these colonial homes. And the colonial homes that I saw were identical to the property my dad bought in upstate New York. Identical. And I went through there yesterday just to see it again. But the point is, my dad went through hell. He worked on ships going back and forth from the U.S. to Europe. He had a billiard parlor. He ran numbers. He had a funeral parlor. Got into partnership with some Jewish guys in Harlem, owned real estate. He hung out with Joe Louis, all kinds of stories. He was a player, you hear me? He met my mom when he was 45. He had a son, and she was 20. She had a son. Her husband had died. And my mom was cute, 5 foot tall, hot, okay? And he put his eyes on her. 25-year difference, okay? And the two of them got together. Now, my mom has another story. She's Jewish. She's a Russian Jew by heritage. And her mother, my brother researched all this stuff. Her mother, Russian Jew, 3 years, she was mentally ill. 3 years in a row, left new babies in the hospital. And the housekeeper for her This baby, she went back, it was born in March, put her under her winter coat and stole her and raised my mom in Harlem. So you got this little Jewish lady, 5 foot tall, and she thinks she's black, right? So she